Oh, what's going on, guys? This is Evan, the Demon Souls enthusiast here, bringing another Demon Souls gameplay commentary on the PlayStation 3, which is the only console it was ever released for, one of the best PlayStation 3 exclusives. If you're rocking a PlayStation 3 and you don't own a copy of this game, you really need to get on it, because that's kind of like an inexcusable lack of ownership. But, in any case, this is a continuation of my Demon Souls Let's Play series, although I don't really like to call things Let's Plays, but it is a continuation of my Demon Souls Let's Play series. After the first upload, which was the defeat of the tutorial boss Vanguard, it seemed like a lot of people really enjoyed seeing some Demon Souls in this channel, so I decided I might as well go on and keep uploading it on a continual basis. This is going to be a walkthrough, not even a walkthrough, this is going to be a completion of Area 1-1, which is the Boletarian Palace. And as I previously pointed out, Demon Souls are divided into zones, which actually makes it a lot easier to code videos like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, etc., so people know exactly what they're watching. Because if I say, like on Dark Souls, if I said, we're going to do the Moonlight Butterfly, that could encompass, all the way through the Forest to Sif to, whatever. So I actually kind of like the division of stages in this game. That's something I'm really excited to have gone back to. When I started playing this, I kind of felt like there's a lot of things about this game that I really missed, and a lot of things that I didn't miss, but I've talked about those in other commentaries. What I want to talk about a little bit in World 1-1 is some of the things I remember from my first playthrough of this game, because this was, of course, my first Souls game, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, my initial reaction to things when I first started playing this game. First off, I was very confused by the alive and dead mechanics of this game. Of course, in Dark Souls, you had human form and undead form, and in this game, you have dead and alive. Right now, I'm playing dead, of course. I am a ghost. You all saw me lost my life to the first boss. Well, the first unbeatable boss. The boss of World 2-4, 2-3 maybe. I can't remember the exact division, but the final boss of World 2, the Dragon God, which I will get my revenge on later, but he took my life. So now I'm in soul form, so you'll see the big black by my life bar. In Dark Souls, if you're in soul form, you don't get access to your full life bar. And the minute that zombie right there jumped me, I remember I remember losing a life to that zombie the first time I played. But yeah, as I was saying, absolutely on Dark Souls, or Demon Souls rather, there's the human form, the life form, and in dead form, ghost form, soul form, yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm just stuttering through the terminology because I haven't played this game in a long time, and I haven't been doing my literature review on it, so to say. But to sort of characterize this game, you have soul form and human form, and in soul form, you have less of your total life, and there's a lot of other mechanics that go with it. I would have to read up on the mechanics before I start reporting on them, and that'll be something I do in the next videos. I talk about all the mechanics of this game that are different from Dark Souls. I think a good way to frame these commentaries is Demon Souls versus Dark Souls, because Demon Souls is a much older game at this point, and I think that it would be valuable for me to go back and compare the two games and say what's different, mechanics-wise, etc. But first off, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some things about this game I'm really excited to go back to, mechanics or otherwise. This is not supposed to be an overview of everything in the game or all the little hidden nuances, but so much as these are things I'm really excited to see back. It's a double-edged sword, but in a way I am really excited to see armor not play such a huge factor. In Dark Souls, as you know, poise became a very powerful aspect of PvP and PvE, really. Being able to survive hit stunts and stuff like that was a really big deal. In Demon Souls, different armor has different defense and things like that, but for the most part it doesn't make a huge difference. You can pretty much wear whatever you want. Your armor choices become purely cosmetic, which you can make that choice in Dark Souls too, just opt to have a purely cosmetic character where I don't really care how effective the stuff I use or wear is, I just care about how it looks. Which is great, except for the fact that you're really limited in PvP. You have to work a lot harder to do things if you don't rock poise, which is why most people are rocking poise. So in this game, there's definitely those pieces of equipment that everybody will wind up using, but for the most part, in terms of the armor you wear, it's all cosmetic and just what you want. Shield, weapon, and catalyst / talisman are really the only pieces of equipment I think matter all that much. Unless you're making a mage, then you might use like the monk's head wrap to upgrade your magic. There's a couple novelty items that are essential for a build here or there, but for the most part, there's really no need to min-max your armor, your poison, stuff like that. So I really enjoy that factor because, you know, I like to build my character cosmetically. I mean, right now my character's running around a very odd sort of look because I haven't acquired new armor to put on her yet. So right now she's just kind of running in like partially her underwear and partially some pants. You know, that's how she rolls. She doesn't care. She's fit and she wants to sew it. She's sexy and she knows it. But in any case, like, I really enjoy that facet of the game, not having to wear pieces of Havel to be optimal or wear giants to be perfect, things like that, where, you know, I don't, like in Dark Souls, I had all the freedom, but I'd have to choose to get myself. In this game, I have all the freedom and I don't have to choose to get myself, and that's really nice. I also like the world variety a lot more. I know I've mentioned that before, but I have to revisit that. I just love the fact that this game is divided into stages. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dark Souls being one continual world, I think was a move in the right direction. I think it made the game flow more seamlessly. But with that said, I liked how in this game, if I was warping into different areas, I could get really completely different environments. And I suppose in Dark Souls, different areas contrasted to each other pretty well, but in this game, like, I just felt the true contrast. Like, World 3 and World 1 are nothing alike. You know, none of the worlds are anything like the other, whereas in Dark Souls, I felt like a lot of areas were very similar. Not necessarily in a bad way, and I almost lose my life to this guy. I had to play a lot more careful in Demon Souls. In Dark Souls, I don't even really show the game the respect it deserves anymore in my gameplay. I tend to rush a lot, rush forward, and I don't fight everything as tactically as I should, because I've played through the game, you know, 7 or 10 or 12 or a million times, so I'm just really accustomed to everything in the game. There's no surprises, I don't get jumped or anything like that. And I know exactly the kind of damage the enemies do, and etc. I've just, you know, I've got that game on lockdown, and that's demonstrated on the channel just by how many times I've uploaded it. But on this game, I remember where some of the big enemies are and things like that, but there's also, like, a lot of confusion for me, like, I didn't remember that guy was there, or, you know, this and that, and that's great. Dark Souls is a fantastic game, and I love playing it. I love playing through it every time I do. But I just kind of get to the point where you're like, man, I have everything memorized, maybe I should be playing something different. But I ran into this kind of thing where I couldn't find a game I enjoyed as much as Dark Souls. I wanted to play something different, so I got Dragon's Dogma. I figured this is an action RPG, this is like it. Dragon's Dogma, great game. Why didn't I wind up commentating it or playing it that much? It's not hard enough. I just didn't really find the game very challenging at all, particularly compared to Dark Souls. I didn't find the combat system as immersive. It was more action-packed, which was fun for a while, but eventually it just seemed kind of shallow, I guess. This is not an anti-Dragon's Dogma review. I actually recommend that game to anyone. I think people who like action RPGs will love it. But I think at this point I'm so hung up on the Souls series, I just need to play Souls games, and, you know, I'm sure, you know, I play other things, uploads go up on the channel and stuff like that. And I do play a lot of games I don't commentate. Like right here, I forgot about those explosive barrels. I was like, oh man. But anyway, this commentary's all over the place. I'm just really excited to be commentating this game. It's exciting to play it, but it's even more exciting to commentate it. Right now I'm in sort of the giggles and kind of like being in a relationship with someone. Like the first couple weeks you're together, the relationship can be really easy and fun. Like the puppy love stage, I guess, where, you know, oh, she's so cute, or he's so good looking, whatever. I don't really know the other perspective. I only know it from the male perspective, but oh, she's so cute and funny, and she likes to do things that I like to do, and it's so fun, and oh my gosh, it's great. Then, you know, as the relationship ages, you start to get tested in one way or another, like, oh, we don't really see eye to eye on this, or we don't really get along with this. That's kind of what I think is going to happen with Demon Souls, where I know I'll enjoy the game the whole way through. Just like a long-term relationship you stay in, often you enjoy it more than you dislike it, but I think there are going to be those moments like, I'm going to get to human form, because you kill a boss, you can revive to human form, and there's ephemeral eyes like humanity, other ways to revive to human form, but, you know, I'll be in human form for sure, and I'll get killed or something, which is going to totally mess up my world tendency, and then I'm going to be sad, like, oh dude, my world tendency is all jacked up now. What am I supposed to do? It's going to be a big problem. The aspects of this game I don't like are going to come back to bite me in the end, but I'm sure I'll enjoy playing the game all the way through. I just got the Clingering. The Clingering increases your life while you're in soul form. So if you're playing in soul form, the cling ring basically becomes a you're going to wear this every time you're in soul form kind of thing, which is fine. In this game, the ring choices I think are somewhat more variable than in Dark Souls. In Dark Souls, I think you're pretty much going to wear the Darkwood Grain Ring plus Hornets slash... yeah, Hornets. That's just the optimal build for PvP. For PvE, there's more options, but the Darkwood Grain Ring will probably still be the ring of choice for 90% of players. Rightfully so. It's so good. Whereas in this game, there are going to be those rings. There just seems like there's more of those best rings ever. I forgot about this too, but I see the barrels kind of lining up there. I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. This is a trap. I remember the first time I played through this game, I like didn't die to that. I didn't really die to a whole lot of traps and stuff my first time through this game. I wound up dying a lot to like bosses and things. We'll see how it goes. I remember the bosses in Demon Souls being harder than Dark Souls. I remember I said that in another commentary and people were like, no way, dude. Way easier. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I remember them being harder in Demon Souls. So we're gonna see. I always felt like Dark Souls just didn't have those really intense boss battles. But these games usually don't work out for me, like, in the way they do for other people. And that's to say, the boss fights that other people report as being difficult, I found rather easy. Take, like, Old King Allant, who is probably the final boss of this. He's not technically the final boss of this game, but Old King Allant is basically the final boss of this game, and I one-shotted him. I never had a game over to him. It was no problem. And I hadn't watched any like tutorial videos or anything. I just one-shotted him, and I was like, wow, that wasn't hard at all. Whereas Flame Warper, I gamed over on for like 7 or 8 times. I don't know, and you'll see all these bosses in this channel, so for those of you that don't have like the contextual knowledge having not played this game, this sort of introductory commentary, this overview, it'll all come into focus later on once you get more exposure to the bosses in the game, but and you'll see me talking to the NPCs from time to time and things like that. I'm not going to mute my commentary for that because it would be hard for me to go through all my videos and make sure I was leaving that stuff available for conversation and stuff like that. But it's kind of for my benefit because I like the dialogue and stuff. Demon Souls, I think, arguably had a better story than Dark Souls. Neither is particularly known for their deep and immersive story. Now, with that said, I really enjoy the story of Demon Souls and Dark Souls. It's one of my favorite plots of all time, because it's more lore-based than, like, storyline-driven. And I like lore-based stories. I don't mind filling in the gaps and sort of writing my own story. I've been known to do the old judgmental role-play thing a little bit when I play video games. Like, but it's not really in the way you'd expect. Like, for example, I like to build my characters to a roleplay. Like, there's like optimal character builds and there's roleplay builds, which is why it took me a long time to start commentating Dark Souls, because I spent a lot of time like doing like roleplay builds. Like, the Ellie series of Dark Souls was actually a roleplay vid. I wasn't like role-playing the game while I played her. Like, oh my gosh, and Ellie goes and slays the great Sith, the beast of the wood. Like, nah, we didn't do that. We're not that serious about it. Although I guess it might. I guess I could try it. I don't know if that would work out very well. There's some other video game commentators that do that, and they seem to enjoy it, but maybe not for me. But a good example of like some legitimate role playing where I guess I just don't pretend to be someone else so much as I just do things that I think that character would do. Like, on the Elder Scrolls series, for example, something I like to do is make, like, a knight character. Not necessarily, like, you know, wears heavy armor and a big sword and all that stuff. Like, yeah, that's definitely part of it, but I take it to a deeper level where if I'm a knight character, I won't kill anybody if I don't have to. Like, I'll kill bandits and betrayers of the law, but I can't join, like, the Dark Brotherhood, the Assassin's Guild. There's all sorts of things, if you're, like, role-playing a true knight, you just can't do. Like, unless you're like an evil knight, which I was not. I was a good, holy knight. You know, I can't go around and join the Assassin's Guild. That's not appropriate of a role for me. I've got to join, like, the military and stuff like that, so. I was playing Modern Warfare 3 the other day, and I really don't like that game. As I've noticed a lot of other people on the channel don't. I still like, I don't really even like to. I do upload it from time to time, just because I don't want to become completely detached from the Call of Duty roots of this channel. Especially because I want to, you know, I want to condition my audience and condition myself that, you know, probably once a week there's going to be a Black Ops 2 gameplay going up. I mean, maybe. I'm kind of at that, let's put it this way, maybe not Black Ops 2, but there's going to be an FPS game going up on this channel every now and again. I know that FPS isn't really the focus of why people watch this channel, but I want to diversify to the point I'm not just like a one-trick pony that's pigeonholed into always doing the same kind of commentary. Like the Soul series has become the backbone of this channel right now, but it likely won't remain as such. I mean, as time goes on, if I intend to be doing this for years to come, you know, there's only going to be a Souls game every few years, so there's going to be downtime between game releases and content and stuff like that. Like, so... Excuse me, I had to take a drink. I'd like to condition, you know, my subscribers, the people who find this channel, and so condition myself that there's going to be a little more going on than just Dark Souls or Demon Souls all the time. But with that said, I mean, we're obviously doing Demon Souls right now, so I guess it speaks for itself. But when I was playing Modern Warfare 3, because it was so miserable and unfun, and I can't believe I was able to play it for a couple hours, as America even played it for more than 30 minutes, I really don't like that game. I kind of want... Oh, by the way, you could throw an explosive into those barrels and kill like all those guys at once for kind of cinematic experience, but I was actually too lazy to go and equip firebombs. Plus, firebombs, like in Dark Souls, firebombs in general aren't that helpful. So, there is... The first boss, however, is extremely weak to fire, and I don't have access to any fire other than firebombs. So, because I'm respecting Demon Souls, you know, I'm not trying to put myself in an automatic hard mode, I'm doing everything as effectively as possible. You're going to see me using firebombs on the first boss, which is Phalanx. You also see me munching on grass. I kind of hope that when I PvP, I can find like some honor duels where people won't grass. I guess there's nothing wrong with grassing, but it's kind of like flasking or popping humanities and stuff. It's just, I prefer if you just play with the life you have. One thing I don't like about Demon Souls is the Miracle Second Chance, which 99% of all character builds rock. For those of you not familiar with it, Second Chance is when you die, you come back to life with like 10% of your life or something like that, like a very minimal amount of HP. But since there's grass that full heals you, you can just literally die, warp back with full, like, you die, come back to life, just get up, like, it's actually pretty lame how it was portrayed, I think. If Second Chance goes off, when your health reaches 0, a blue smoke pops around you and you live. That's basically how it works. You live with a small fraction of your HP, then you eat a Dark Moon Grass, which is full heal, done, over. Now you're full life again, run, go hide, turtle. This is in PvP or against the boss. Recast Second Chance, and you can just kind of grind fights out that way. So you can have some really long PvP matches in this game if people can keep, you know, people aren't like staying to a confined area. Because in this game, pretty much everyone PvPs in the same area, like World 4-1, it's kind of like the kiln of this game, only it's more heavily populated. And if you're in Shrine of Storms, you're kind of supposed to stay like close to the starting area. You're not supposed to like run through the archway and run back into the level, but if people do that, because I remember in the very, very brief PvP matches I had on this game, people could go run and recast Second Chance and do all sorts of things that just used to irritate me. So hopefully we can find a way around that, or I'll just get used to grassing. You know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I'm definitely not a Demon Souls expert. I'm proficient with the controls, and I remember most of the areas, but I'm by no means like an authority on the game, and not many play this game anymore, so I probably won't become a hardcore authority. Just so much as I'll sort of remind myself about mechanics and things like that. I also forgot the enemies in this game will grass, just like enemies in Dark Souls will flask. All sorts of things I'm just picking up as I go along. But I'm all over the place here. I want to get back to what I was saying about my Modern Warfare 3 gameplay, where I played like an hour where I just didn't do anything fun, and it was pretty atrocious. And I was playing with a couple of friends, and we winded up on the map Downturn. Now I realize a lot of you don't play Modern Warfare 3, but if you do, you probably know Downturn to be one of the community's least favorite maps. If you play FPS, the best way to describe it is really long lines of sight with a bunch of crap cluttered on a city street to prevent like good lines of sight. So you basically just wind up with bad spawns, because all Modern Warfare 3 maps have bad spawns. In other words, it just kind of sucks. Without going into too much detail and belaboring the commentary, it's just pretty lousy, and I'm not sure many people like the map. But if we're playing Downturn per se, I'm just like bored, and I had just watched that Enter the Metro trailer for the next Metro game. For those of you that haven't seen it, that's a pretty cool live-action trailer. I would check that out just for coolness. So I was watching that, and I was thinking, well, there's a Metro on this map. So I was talking to my friends. I'm like, all right, guys, We're going to protect the metro no matter what. Just hold the metro. So it wasn't really about camping or building kill streaks or do anything effective. It wasn't about playing Call of Duty sort of the way you should. It wasn't about mad rushing to try to get entertaining YouTube gameplay. It was just kind of like, dudes, let's just not let anybody in the metro. Like, let's just make this our metro. So we posted up on all the little entrances down to the metro, me and my two buddies, and it was a good time. None of us put up, like, crazy high scores or anything, but it was fun. We got really serious about it. Like, whenever we all died, we swarmed it and pushed them out of the metro kind of thing. And it was weird. Like, we did this for, like, 3 or 4 matches where we just pick a spot on the map and decide to defend it. Like, on Bakara, we decided to defend, like, this downed helicopter, like Black Hawk Down style. And, you know, you get the idea. I think if I had had a splitter cable set up, I actually probably would have done that and uploaded it, like, live action. Or not live action. I just would have, you know, been like live TeamSpeak kind of thing. I think you guys might have enjoyed that. It was pretty funny. And more interestingly enough, as we did this for a couple of games, and we wind up in this really strange situation where other players would start doing the same thing. Like on the other team, like they'd start setting up in an area. Like we're on team chat, they can't hear us. But for whatever reason, people just listen to this stuff and they're like, dude, they're just trying to defend that building. Let's all go cap that building. So we wind up in these like basically offense-defense things. It's like playing Search and Destroy, only you get to pick your own bomb site, basically. And you get to respawn and stuff like that, so. But all in all, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. You'll see me trying to get the dragon to come here, because there's some dragon items I want from the roost, but I'm kind of being a coward, and I don't remember the exact timing on this, so I'm playing and experimenting with the dragon. Something I've noticed about online gameplay, sometimes if you kind of lead the way, like so to say on Black Ops a long time ago, and you know this never went up on the channel. I told some people I would put it up on the channel, but I decided against it. Back when all I was really doing was Call of Duty Black Ops, I started playing like throwing knife tomahawk only with these people, and I didn't really start it, but someone else said, let's just do all tomahawks, guys. I'm like, alright, whatever. So everybody started to do it. And I've talked about this on another video, so I won't go about it at length, but so they started to do basically whatever they wanted with tomahawks, like just tomahawk only. No one used their gun. It was really cool. So I did the same thing, and it was neat on Modern Warfare 3. The same kind of thing happened where we just started to play like offense-defense, and then they started to play offense-defense. It was really neat, actually. I enjoyed it a lot. It's good to see the community's willing to do things outside of the norm now and again. And those other items there I can come back for later. They're not of extreme importance. I really just wanted the purple flame shield, which I acquired. It's a really good early game shield. Extremely effective against fire, really high stability, so it's kind of like the eagle shield of this game, I think. Probably not the best shield, but definitely the one of like the eagle, arguably in the top 5 shields of the game, obviously. Usually in the Soul series, there's no best something. Usually just like top tier. The only best is probably in the rings sometimes. But yeah, I'm inspecting my purple flame shield, which I don't have the strength to carry. But this will be a high strength carry because I'm going to use a Murden hammer, which many people affectionately refer to as the noob hammer in PvP, because it's a beast of a weapon in PvP. And I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm just going to kind of wait until I have it. You guys can see why it's considered the noob hammer. I'll use other things too, but I definitely am going to main a Murden hammer. I'd like to have high strength anyway. I didn't used to PvP with a Murden hammer, just other people PvP with it on me. So I used to PvP with like a single katana and a shield. I should have been using dual katanas, but you know, whatever. And here I'm being nitpicky, I want to off those guards, and I'm like, well, the dragon's probably going to come, so better just to not. And here we're going to open the main gate that we saw at the start of the level. This will lead to the first boss, the Phalanx, which is, just like it sounds, a giant mess of spears. Now, since this is the first playthrough of the Soul series, there will not be commentary during boss fights. That's just something I want to get everybody ready for. I'm not interested in changing that practice. Dark Souls, there's been so many run-throughs that I don't really feel inclined to not commentate during the boss fights anymore, particularly when so many other people, or particularly when there's other... Oh crap, that's my cell phone, I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to edit that out, I'm sorry. It's too close to the end of the commentary, and I don't know exactly where I backtrack to doing. It just wouldn't turn out very well. Better to leave that kind of stuff, at least in this circumstance. But, as I was saying, Dark Souls, plenty of gameplays uploaded. no real need not to commentate during those battles. So in this game, since it's likely only going to be one complete playthrough, probably better to leave the boss fights, you know, uncommented. That way people can get sort of like a cinematic experience. I consider the boss fights the most intense part of all the Souls series, so you get the idea. I like to leave it as intact and possible without my voice over it. I get that this is a commentary channel, so we're here for commentary, but this is like a 30-minute gameplay, so if we're commentating for 25 plus minutes of it, I think we can spare a little time outside of a commentary. So I try to maintain some of the cinematics behind these games. I think that's a lot of the immersion factor, and I guess if I felt that, I'd always consider doing like silent Let's Plays too, like just do a Let's Play without a commentary, but kind of opted out of that plan. This is a commentary-based channel. I think one day, for variety, I will do a game without any commentary whatsoever. Just because I would like to have, some variety. Like, there are no silent Let's Plays. Well, that's not true. Armored Core 4 Answer was a silent Let's Play, which I don't think anyone really watched or liked. Every now and then I get like a comment on one of the videos. But that might have more to do with the fact that Armored Core isn't that fun to watch, and because I suck at Armored Core. Armored Core, that's like a funny beast that represents like gaming as a whole in a lot of ways. Compared to a lot of people, I'm really good at Armored Core. But compared to people who are actually good at Armored Core, I'm awful. And I find a lot of gameplay use that works like that. Like, I remember back before the age of the internet, when I was young and no one had internet and no one could go online to play their games. Like, you just had to play with the people you knew. Like, your buddies, that's who you played deathmatch with. And as a direct result of that, I'm going to run back and refresh my heals and stuff like that. This is totally being nitpicky and it's unnecessary, but like I said, I'm giving this game the respect it deserves, not taking anything for granted. But yeah, back when you had to play with your friends, like, the only comparison of skill you had was against your friends. And I normally beat up on my friends pretty good. I was pretty good at video games, but now that I can play online, I see, like, the true champions, so to say, and the not-so-true champions. But anyway, we're approaching the boss fight, which I'm going to go silent for the remainder of the video, so I appreciate you guys watching these and all the positive feedback I've got concerning the Demon's Souls series. I didn't really expect it to get as much positive feedback as it did, so I guess people are just really looking forward to seeing the old Demon's Souls gameplay. And once again, if you have a PlayStation 3 and you haven't bought this game, it's absolutely worth playing for. If you're on consoles, you have a long time to wait until the DLC for Dark Souls comes out, and even if you're as fanatical about Dark Souls as I am, you're probably getting a little ready for something new. I mean, come on now. Any game benefits from just a little longevity, so definitely consider picking this game up. It will be a different experience, and transitioning between playing this and Dark Souls is weird. I kind of like it, actually. It's a really different experience. And did you guys notice that, like, the spear in the ground there, like they shot earlier, like, for a minute there I thought it had a glow, it was just the light hitting off it, so never mind, no Easter egg to observe. But enough of this end commentary rant. This is it, guys, the boss fight with the Phalanx. Alright, everybody, thanks for watching, and take care.
The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.